Hey everybody, John Cronin here with Viperscale Racing, coming to you from our headquarters in Utah. It's about 28 degrees outside and I'm ready to talk slot cars. Well everyone, me and Dan were talking and we decided that there isn't much video content out there for HO slot car racing, and we're going to put these videos together over the next few weeks that we hope are both entertaining and informative to the hobbyist and the hardcore racer. Today's episode, we're going to kick things off by building a level 10 modified. We're going to throw the car together, tweak the end bell, set up the front and rear end, choose a body, paint it, pin it, trim it, put it on the track and turn a few laps. And then we'll see about doing some tuning to it to make it go faster. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, let's go over to the build hall and get started. Here we are in the build hall at Viperscale Racing. Every order starts and begins here, and on the wall behind me is over 400 products that make up our store. But we're not interested in what's behind me, we're interested in the bulk bins today. Here in front of us we have our little project today. This is our 3-ohm modified exploded view. These are the tools we're going to use to put it together. Alright, so here we go. First step I always do, throw the guide pin in here. Just going to put it in there, pop it in the first slot. And then I'm going to hook the pliers in there, and we're just gonna work it into that second hole. All right, there you go. That's seated. I always work the stiffs in just a little bit carefully because they're so stiff that sometimes you can slip with the pliers and catch yourself in the nail or something, and I don't like getting hurt. Second step, I'll pop these hangers in. Let's see, here we are. Just carefully seat those, not to tweak them. Then we're going to flip the car over. Grab a pickup spring. I'm using 9 thou springs in this car, which are a good compromise between performance and handling in the corners. On a more open track, I get away with running 10s and get a little more horsepower, but on a tighter, more technical track, sometimes you might have to run 8 thous, which are gonna slow your top end down, but it's gonna make the car corner like a beast. Next, we're going to take our pickup shoe, and what we're going to do here is I'm going to put this in like that, and then I'm just going to roll it right into the hanger till it clicks. So it's a real gentle procedure here. You don't want to tweak these shoes at all, and you don't want to bend the hanger or anything, so we're just going to go pop. Let's see if I can get a good shot of this. Getting used to the head mount here still. So we got the shoes in there. Next we're going to take our pliers. We're going to throw these 350 O-rings on this razor front end. So I'm just going to spread this O-ring, go top to bottom. Spread that O-ring, top to bottom, real careful. And then you just want to find a flat surface use this pad of paper here. And we're just gonna run these O-rings in until they're seated. Then I'm gonna grab the axle by the middle and just roll it. This one feels perfect. This is the best way to check for an unseated O-ring or a bent front axle. Whether you hear it or you think the car is running fishy, you can always check this. This one feels just perfect, exactly how it should. So we're gonna pop this open, put it in our short wheelbase here on the V1. And I'm gonna leave quite a bit of slack so that when we pop the end bell and the motor package in, it goes in easy. And then we'll come back and put that to spec later. So we're gonna go ahead and set this out of the side now, and we're gonna start working on our end bell here. So what we're gonna do with our end bell is we're gonna seat this bushing in there. As you can see, use our Viper Scale Racing brush spreader here. Put our bronze bushing in there, excuse me. Let's see if we can get a good shot of this. Let's see here. So I got a little bit of pressure on it, and I just spin it to make sure that it's even on all sides. Then I'm just gonna press it down firmly. And then you just wanna eyeball it, make sure all the shoulders are the same. When it's in there crooked, you can tell. It'll make you run hot. So let's see. So that's a good press there. Now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna tweak this thing. So I'm gonna use our brush spreader here. I'm going to open it about the diameter of an armature in there, and then I'm just going to, where is the video at? There we go. I'm just going to bend these over. You can see that tweak in there. Let's see. Can you see that tweak in there? There we go. Get an idea of what's going on there. Just check the tension. Perfect tension on each one. I'll get our seating tool out, and we're gonna break these brushes in, give the armature a little bit of help. This is a diamond hone tool. So I'm just going to seat this end bell. Not quite enough yet. A little bit more. You want to get a good half moon shape in those. You get the best contact with the commutator. So that looks pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to snap our timing bracket on there. Then spread our brushes and put the armature in there. Put our rear bushing on there. So now we're ready to put the magnets on. So now I got our pair of magnets out. We're going to throw the white dot on the passenger side. Put our thrust ring on the front. Okay, now this is our power plant ready to go into our car now. So what I always like to do is I like to put the snout of the end bell in where it's going to go, and then I hold the car with one hand. Now I'm just going to fish underneath with our motor install tool, pop the hanger forward on each side, and I'm going to pre-seat the performance package in here and get this rear bushing to stay in there. So at this point, if you keep pressure on the center of the armature, that rear bushing is going to fall out on you. I'm just going to reach over and carefully put this end bell in there. You don't want to crush the ears of the end bell, or your performance is really going to suffer. So I got those in there just like that, and I'm going to give it a good push front and rear. And then I'm going to look at it, pinch the sides just to make sure everything is in there. Spin the arm, check the forward backward play. So that's in there. Now I can come up to our front end. I'm just going to pinch it tight, and then I'm going to open it up a little bit. About 10 thousandths worth of slop is fine. You want slop so the car can still twist through the corners, even though this stiff isn't going to do much twisting, but you still don't want it to run hot. So now what we're going to do is we'll grab our traction magnets. All of our traction mags are going to come with a little gray dot on them to match the gray dot on the armature, but I'll just throw it on the side of it with the face down. Whichever side the face attracts to, which is going to be white dot with white dot on these, that's how you know you're in high downforce. We're just going to carefully put these in with the notch to the front. Now we'll take our magnet clip. I'm going to put one side pretty much all the way on. And then with one push, I'm pushing across the top of the rear bushing here. We're going to seat this, and it's on. It's the best way to do it. It doesn't cause you to accidentally break one of the sides off of the magnet clip. And especially on these stiffs that are really stiff, you don't end up having to break your magnet clip trying to put it on. So with that said, got that car going. Now let's assemble our rear end. Put our gear hob in there first. So I'm going to press this on. We have this set up to where you just press it till it stops, and it's right where the gear needs to be on the spline. One little performance tip on these is you want to look right at the end of that gear hub and check that the spline isn't pushed through, and also check that there's no burr pushed out of the thing, and it's going to cause the car to run hot. This one looks really good. So now what we're going to do is we'll put our double flanged wheel, get that on there. We're going to put our new, this is our new bronze bushing. It's 45 thousandths, which shims our Mega G 23 tooth gear perfectly on these axles. So I'm going to put a little bit of tension on this, and I'm going to spin the gear just to make sure that it's going on the rim as true as possible. And then I'm just going to press, and once again we have this set up to where we can press it till it stops, and it's perfect. Flip it around, throw our cap on there. Same thing, spin it and push till it stops. Okay. Now we got a pair of 334 albino rears. These are our new tires. I've run these tires on everything from a Viper Jet to a drop-in Neo, and to me they're changing the slip-on game. They're just a great tire. They're a little bit softer than a Hard Rock, and they're harder than a M1 compound. Alright, so now we got this set up, our rear axle assembly. Now all we got to do is Loctite our pinion on there, snap the rear end in, and oil her up and go run some hot laps. Alright, so I got our Loctite out. So we use blue Loctite on the pinions. It's a good non-permanent Loctite. I'm just gonna put it on the tip of it there till I get a pretty good bubble. You can use a Q-tip for this too, it works. So we got a good little bubble there. You don't want to put too much on, because when you put the pinion on and press it all the way down, you'll flood the rear bushing, and this stuff it'll start to cure around it, and it's really gonna screw your car up. So we're gonna put it in our little pinion tool here. There's always that pre-pop. You get it on there centered, and then you just want to press it all the way down. Then we're gonna throw our rear axle in there. Snaps real good because it's a stiff. And then we're just gonna reach under. Let's see, where's the video there? And we're gonna pull that pinion to where it's covering that crown gear right about halfway. And then we're just gonna check our slop to make sure the pinion doesn't run into the axle and the crown gear doesn't rub into the shank of the pinion there. And that looks pretty good. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we'll take some oil here. I'm gonna reach under there in this little pocket and just put a dab of oil on the bushing and the shaft right there. And I'm just gonna put one dab of oil in the front of the bushing right here. You don't want to oil the front one too much, because you can also flood the electrical in there and it'll coat the armature, and your armature won't run as best as it can. So now we're going to take some little bit thicker oil here, and I'm just going to put a dab on the pinion and each side of the rear end, and then just pre-spin it a little. Check everything out. Alright, so that's our 3 ohm modified. This car is a little different than what you get if you ordered it, but it's basically the same. It's just different rear tires, and so this car is ready to hit the track. Oh, there's no more. Alright, so for body, I've chosen our VTP body, 10 thou. So to start, I always just wipe the body clean with some alcohol, just to remove any mold spray residue or any gunk. And then I'll wipe it dry with a dry side. This really gives you crisp window lines with the masks too. Grab our mask. And then just line her up in there. There we go. Just work it around. Make sure there's no spots unstuck anywhere. Alright, this body's a great body because it only has one window mask, and that's really all you need to make a really cool car. So now at this point, before I push the body pins through, I'll take some emery cloth and I'll just lightly scuff the body so that the paint sticks. Just get it everywhere. So now we got just a tiny bit of scuff on there. Body's still gonna look real bright. Grab our jig car. You don't have to use a jig car, I'm just used to it. Grab our fat head body pins. We're gonna line this up clear. Start poking it through. Through there. Alright, next step's just going to be to take a Sharpie and run it around these wheels. If you do this carefully and correctly, you can cut these out without even having the car under the body, and it'll be pretty much exactly where you need it. Alright, we'll pull these pins out. Pop it off the jig car. Alright, and that's what your body's going to look like. We'll go spray it with some yellow and meet you back here. Okay, so here we are with the painted body. If you want to see more in depth on how to paint a Lexan body, Dan's done some really good videos that are on our channel. We're just going to start by trimming this excess Lexan off of there with our straight scissors that we have here. Alright, now we'll take our curved scissors. We'll start trimming these wheel wells out. Alright, now the rear. Ooh. Just add a little bit of flare to the rear here, cut it long. All right. Now we'll just reach in and peel our mask off. All right. There's that. Just get some body pins out. All right, so now we got body pins in there. I like to tape them right now so that we can put quite a bit of tape on them and then we can trim it off at the end. Just getting some tape cut here. Alright. Get these little tape tabs on there. There's one. And two. So now we'll just work this tape down so that it looks decent. Run it around these body pins. The front one's always the most difficult, but it's doable. This is a great color because you can't really see the air bubbles, to where if you did a black body it would be more visible. And this is a great body because of how much flat surface area you have on the side dam. So it makes a really strong taping, and a body should last you for quite a few races. So we'll just throw our jig car back under there. Alright, we'll just check all the wheel wells. That one needs just a tiny bit of massaging. Okay, this one, same thing. Rears are good. Alright, now we'll just trim the front bumper. On this body, you literally trim the transition from flat to 90 degrees, and it's perfect. I can just recover that. There we go. Alright, now with our straight scissors, we're just going to look at the side of the car and trim right down it. Needs a little bit more in the back. Okay, now throw it on our setup block. Let's see. So that's a really good trim on that one. Look at the front. Just trim a little bit more off the front just so that it doesn't squeak. Let's see. That one looks good. That side looks perfect. Okay. So that's our trimmed, pinned, and taped body. We'll throw this on our modified we just built and we'll go run some laps. Okay, so here we are on the track. Added some little bit of detail pen to the car just to make it look a little bit cooler. This car, we want this car to run about a 2-4 lap on this track. So let's see what we can do. All right, so First crash. Let's see what laps we got. So we're looking at about, our fast lap was a 2:46. Car feels really comfortable. It's really smooth, but it lacks a little bit on the top end, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just put it in advanced timing. It's in middle timing right now. So we'll just see what we can get out of it in advanced. And this is the first time running the car too. There's no time on the run stand or anything, so it'll take a couple laps to get everything happy. And hopefully we can look at some 2.3s maybe out of this car right now. So let's see. All right, so let's see what we could do. I saw a couple of 2.3s up there. All right, so we ran, let's see, last 10 laps, we went 239, 248, that was probably when I looked at the monitor. 235.7, 235.8, 235.0, 234.2, 236.2, 234.3, and 242.3 on the crash lap. So that's a pretty happy car. It's about a 1/10 faster than I was hoping for, which is great. I'm just gonna check the magnet wear, shoe wear. Shoe wear is just perfect. It's perfectly flat from front to back. There's no magnet wear, no signs indicating that we're dragging the rear. The car's not hot at all. It's just a really happy overall 2.3 car, and it's not much run time on it yet. I think it could go 2.2, but for now that's a really happy car. Let's throw it back on and let's do 10 laps and see what we can get it into. Push it a little harder through that rhythm right there. Oh, too hard. Oh, a little too much. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm not gonna touch the car. I'm just gonna turn the brake up so that I can drive it as deep as possible into this corner. And I'm gonna let off around this Lexan tab right there, and that's gonna be a lot of time right there. So let's turn the sensitivity up just a tiny bit. Make sure the choke's all the way off, because this car isn't acting like it's trying to jump out of the slot on me. And let's see. Now, those last 3 laps were 234 with a 9, 234.0, and 233.7. So it's not quite there. I'd say qualifying lap on this car, if you slammed it, you could probably get a 2 228-ish out of it. Solid race lap with this car is probably about a 245. Yeah, about a 245 solid lap on it. It's gonna be a good race lap. You're not gonna fall off, and that's really nursing it through this little technical section right here. But as far as track testing go, I wouldn't change a thing on this car yet. I like it just the way it is. A lot to do with our new albino rears. It's just a great tire, especially for this track. We're running the yellow lane right now, which is a pretty tight lane on this track, but they're just working it perfect. Okay guys, so here we are back at the lounge. Just had a lot of fun today making this video. The car performed exactly how I thought it would. We were looking for about 2.4s. We got it into the deep 2.3s. A little more tuning, I'm sure that we could get her into the 2.2s. Maybe a tire change, drop it lower, but why mess with a good thing? You know, it's not running hot, it's not coming off in the corners. I like it the way that it is, and I know I could win some races with that car. So this is what we're doing today. This is our this was our modified we built on our little Viper block there. But that's it for me, guys. Heidi's ready to go. Amanda's ready to go. Our video's done here for the day. Tune in next week. We'll try to get another one going for you. Thank you.